G'day folks, welcome back to All Will Fall, where things are not looking so great for us. We've had several people dying due to dehydration, and we keep running out of certain resources that are keeping us alive, namely either junk or water, depending on, you know, what's being... Sorry, not junk or water, junk or wood, depending on what we're actually sacrificing to make that water. But we do have a couple of, I guess, quests here that have appeared, which I guess we should deal with. And compared to some of the previous episode, I might be pausing time a little bit more. Perhaps maybe things are getting away from me a little bit more because we're not utilizing the pause function. So let's just take a look at this first one. There's something about missing water. Someone has been stealing water from our reserves. We need to do something about it before others start getting any ideas. Yeah, we've got the influence for this. Or we have to take a water hit, which we can't afford right now. We spread the news. We need 15 happiness for each faction to be able to do this. Yeah, well, there goes our influence, but I think I will use that. And hopefully they catch the culprit. Then there's people coming in, and we definitely want new people because we need those workers. So, while we still have things paused, I think it's probably a good idea for us to figure out what's going on with all of our boats, and additionally, we probably want to sort out what else it is that we need to do at this point. One of our newest technologies is the wood to fuel, and I don't exactly have a need for fuel just yet. But I am sort of thinking, would that then allow us to get fuel to water? Or fuel to energy even? And is it even worth it? Right, because we would consume not just wood, actually, it is also junk. So 14 wood, 10 junk to make 7 fuel. Oh, sorry, not 7 fuel. To make 8 fuel. This consumes 8 fuel to produce 20 electricity. Is it really something that we want? This would... Yeah, this is just really about energy production. This is probably what I'm looking for. So we'd consume 5 fuel and produce 20 water as a result. As opposed to what we've got currently with these, which are producing 9 water each for the boilers and 14 water each for the junk to water towers. So what we could do is, in essence, clean all of this up by getting ourselves the fuel to water, provided that we get people producing that fuel for us. So I think that's the direction we're going to take. Resources willing, that is. Yeah, unfortunately we didn't really get a lot of sailors out of that bunch of people who've just settled, which is kind of unfortunate. Let's get a couple of our researchers in here and we'll get that research going. Fuel to water. We do need steel. So is that something that we can actually get done though? Because we do have a steel or metal gathering hut. The only issue is they're not able to reach anything right this moment. Maybe I'll get them to sort of work in this direction here to gather some of the metal from here. Is that even metal? I mean, I'm not 100% sure. But what I could also do is get people down here to try and gather this metal. That seems very accessible to me, so let's just quickly plan for that. I think maybe what would be better is if we... Yeah, I don't know about this. I might leave that there, but I will do a new ladder just coming down here, hoping everything holds. We should be able to get rid of all of that. Don't need that just yet, but with that area clear, we should be able to work on maybe, like, should we do a staircase maybe? Bit difficult to get that staircase in. Yeah, that's not going to hold. Unfortunately. Really do need a way to try and get down here. Oh, and we might need to wait for a little bit more wood to come in. So yeah, let's progress a little bit and see if we can just top up our wood reserves. We are seeing a decline in water and food. There we go. Let's now try to get as close as we can here. That seems a little problematic. Okay. Shocking news. Since we've started producing electricity, people have been getting shocked and sometimes even obtaining serious injuries. We could insulate. Dry your hands next time. Shock as punishment? Sounds like a good idea. Plus 30 influence. Let's not do that. Let's insulate. We do have the junk for it, though we are relying on some of that junk for making water, but we've got a little bit of water to work with right now, so we've got a tiny bit of a buffer. I think we might need to try and stabilize things a little bit. The question is, how do we do that? Maybe like that, and let's just see if we... Yeah, okay, that still isn't working for us, although that seems to be working okay. Yeah, this is proving to be kind of elusive, isn't it? I just need that little bit of extra space there to try and get to. Maybe, just maybe, what we do is... maybe something like that. Okay, that might look a little bit better, and I think we actually do have access to that now. That's very good, and we should prioritize that. So that should be a big injection of metal to hopefully resolve some of our needs for that research. So again, let's get the research going though. Fuel to water. And let's hope for the best. Just keeping an eye out on everything. And we did have this issue just in the previous episode, didn't we? So we've got these markers saying that the docks are inaccessible by boat. Although we do have the icons showing that boats should be able to come in here, so I'm not really sure what the problem is exactly, but I might just do a little bit of a rotation here. There are certain things that I don't really understand in terms of mechanics with this game where, you know, the game seems to be upset about something and it's not always clear what that thing is. So I have resolved one of them at the very least, but this one still seems to be causing a bit of a problem. Maybe like that? Yeah, that looks good. So we should hopefully be able to get people in. Citizens are in a flood zone. Ah, they'll be right. They'll be right. So we do have a junk NATO coming in. Just looking at our workforce here as well. We do have 5 people available to work. So I am a little reluctant to put more people into water production because we've got a little bit of a water buffer at the moment, which is not a thing that we can say every day. So instead of that, I think I'm going to put people into the gathering huts, at least temporarily, just to keep them busy. And maybe it is a good idea at this point to also think about producing a little bit more electricity so we can automate more junk production. Someone's dehydrated. Let's take a look here. Not enough resources to finish. That's fine. That should be resolved soon, you would think. But we do need to produce some fuel. So, actually, that might be a decent thing to try and do. We don't need a lot of fuel right now, but we need at least a little bit of fuel production going to try and finish the research, obviously. So, yeah, we'll get that going. And I'm really hoping that we'll get some more sailors, because a lot of our boats are not really operational. Like, one is not operational at all. And we've got more of these event crates, which I suppose we could try and get to. But yeah, I mean, once this is completely, you know, exhausted, I think we could put people back into the recycling center to make more steel. That could be a possibility. Alright. Yeah. Citizens need more water. I don't really understand how the whole, you know, water distribution works exactly. I mean, we've got water storage here. I wonder if it's better to keep water storage in this location. And perhaps maybe we could bank up a little bit more water in this area. And therefore we have, you know, a couple of sources of water, almost. People are dehydrated. Yeah, I know. And they're going to die if we don't do anything quickly. Whoa, I just pushed some people. Did people actually die there? Because I remember that happening in the previous playthrough. I can't remember if people actually do die from stuff like that. I don't think they do, but I could be wrong. Anyway, we'll let people rest, and we'll start worrying about stuff on the next day. Actually, I take that back. Perhaps maybe we do need to worry about the crane and just making sure that it does have access to the junk that it needs to collect. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, and the workers should still be able to get in there. So yeah, we'll continue to gather all of that up. There's a bit of metal down here, which we could also try to work our way towards. Maybe that's not a bad thing to start planning for. Since we do have a little bit of wood coming in, but, you know, there's not a lot of it, unfortunately. Yeah, we should be able to just simply connect that and put a little staircase there, so people should be able to get access to this. Let's put that at high priority as well. And there's a little bit of food here. The only problem at the moment is we don't actually have access to that floor. So if we want to get there, then perhaps maybe I'm going to need to just send people down here. And that's totally doable. We also have more fuel here, which I don't know how to gather just yet, but let's do some ladders here. And yeah, we've got access to all of this, which is fantastic. Don't know what tools are for at this moment. We've got a bit of a supply of it though, which is quite nice. But this should give us a bit of a boost for both water and food. So we'll let people do their thing. And yeah, we've got this issue right here, which I don't think this is going to be too difficult for us to resolve, provided we can actually get to that position. Okay, let's try and see if we can get people working on this. But we should keep an eye out on some of our other resources here as well. Whoa, what happened there? Did someone die? This building will collapse in 27 minutes. I guess some of that stuff was being held up by the debris. Yeah, not sure if people fall in that manner if they die or not. So it is very questionable. But I think if we do something like that, we might actually be able to support it. We get rid of that. Get rid of that. And from here, we could maybe do something like that. We still need to get up this way to try and clear that. Like so, I think. So, priority-wise, yeah. We've still got that as prioritized, so people should be getting there to clear it. Oh, we found the water thieves. Alright. We found the group who has been stealing our water. Turns out it's just a bunch of kids. Should we punish them or let them go? Ooh. We get 3 citizens. A public beating will be a good lesson for everyone. I need the influence, guys. I do not condone this, but for the sake of getting influence, I think I'll take it. Plus, you know, I did promise this is going to be a bit more of an abrasive playthrough, so let's do that. As bad as that feels. Ugh. Alright. Let's check on everything else. So it looks like the steel down here is all collected. That's good. We've got another source of steel over there. We've got... what's going on here? Are we getting the fuel? I mean, we do have one worker in there. Do I need more? He doesn't seem to be doing a very good job. Oh my god. Alright, are you kidding me? This? This? Oh, it's just over here. Yes, that's a high priority right there. We do not want to let that fall. So, how's this going? Okay, this is still going as well. Alright. Yeah, all this collapsing is making me nervous. And I have no idea where this bunch of debris came from. But debris seems to be a problem now in this game, where if you don't clear it, it's really going to bite you in the ass later. Unstable wood. Okay. So we do have a little bit of fuel coming in. But perhaps maybe it's not a bad idea for us to maybe reduce the amount of workers, maybe engineers, because engineers are a little bit more efficient, I feel. Thanks to their perks that we have. But yeah, this is a huge worry. We could lose a whole bunch of homes if we're not too careful. Water reserves, still okay, I suppose. We're building up a little bit more wood. Got a little bit of junk. We don't have any more junk available over here, so we're gonna need to try and figure out a way to get access to a bit more junk elsewhere. I say we probably want to try and go for all of this. But this could be a challenge to try and achieve. Oh, there we go. We could connect things up that way. I think that might be better. So we've got access to junk for our, you know, gathering huts. So that's really good. But then we've also got access to all of this floating junk, which we can definitely try to get our cranes to work on. So I just need a bit more stability over here. Yeah, okay. So let's get our crane in. Might be a little bit difficult to place, but we'll figure it out, I'm sure. Yeah, I think that's a decent start. Workers need a path to reach the work site. So just trying to figure out what seems to be the problem to try and get here. Maybe this? Not quite. I think maybe another way, we could maybe give people multiple ways to get there. Maybe we'll have people crossing this divide here. We'll see if that works. Unless maybe these piles of junk are in the way. That could be the reason. In which case, we could perhaps maybe shift to different piles of junk initially. Like, I could do that. Oh, okay, that's still problematic. So I think what we'll do is we might reserve the crane for later. We can take the engineers out and we can just simply rely on folks to gather, you know, all of this junk, and when it's clear we can move the crane. We might find that other junk starts floating in over on this side anyway, or another option could be to try and work on junk down here. In fact, that might actually be a better idea for now. There's a whole heap of junk down there. Yep. Yeah, super safe. That looks good. Nice, so we've cleared that. Now it's just a matter of clearing this. Which I'm sure we will be able to do before things collapse. There's apparently another one? Oh man. Oh goodness me. Alright. Yeah, that is also high priority. Let's get people in there. Okay, since we've got... Oh, actually, I did take our engineers off. Let's put our engineers back in there. And we're sort of already at the end of the demo here, which is good, but I think I'm going to keep going for a little bit more, guys, because, you know, there's some tech that I still want to play around with, and also I feel like we haven't exactly gotten to that mysterious building, so we definitely want to try to get to that first before we even think about, you know, wrapping up. But yeah, I'm just worried about things collapsing on us. I believe even if we're at the end of the demo, people will still come to our settlement and, you know, ask to live here. So we should be able to build the settlement even more. Okay, people are going ham on this. That's very good. And then they'll shift to try and fix all of this up, which is exactly what we want. Try and open things up a little bit more for our guys so that they can reach this thing. So, considering all the issues that we're coming up against, I think it might be a good idea for us to also start getting ourselves better supporting materials or supporting blocks. So I might do metal block research. Man, this is getting very, very close though, down to the wire. Just need, like, it's like 5 more. Come on, guys. Come on. Oh, thank goodness. That was too close for comfort. Alright, the metal over here is clear. That's good. We've got a little bit more going on down here, but I'm not really too stressed about wanting to get to it. I would like people to focus to clear that, and then all of the junk over here as well. The problem with focusing down on certain piles of resources is that if you do need to focus on getting rid of some unstable rubble, you might need to then go back to the stuff that you've prioritized and, you know, lower the prioritization on those things to try and get people to, you know, focus on other things or other more pressing issues. So let's take a look at our research here. We've got fuel to water. We do need to just gather a little bit more fuel to actually make the thing. So let's just take a look at our build options here. So fuel to water. No, actually we just need the steel for it. But to run it, we are going to need that fuel. How big is this thing? It is pretty chunky. Big polluter as well. Okay guys, so here's the plan. I think I'm going to increase the surface area of this tower, the stink tower, I dub it. And I might also use the upper platforms as well. So, you know, this central pillar we could try to use to get people, you know, up and down the building. But I think what we should do initially is just get rid of the tech that we no longer want. I need to be a little bit careful because, you know, I don't want to remove things completely because we still have a need for obviously generating more water. But I think initially something like that should be fine. And I could also start thinking about building out a little bit more this way. Just to give us a little bit more of that surface area. And for good measure, I'm going to just add some structural support. Oh yes, that's right, I almost forgot, but I do need to decide on my next batch of research. Walls for metal, that could be good. But I think I want this, metal support buildings. That way we can give a little bit more structural integrity everywhere, in case we need it. Okay. So, let's move this to that side. We'll move this as well. Just behind it. And let's see here. We've got a trader. Let's just say that we don't need anything for now. We don't even have anything else to trade with him anyway, so... But we will welcome another 4 people. And yeah, luckily we don't need to build any more houses just yet because, you know, they're just living in dead people's homes, as I said. But that is going to be a problem eventually. Alright. Let's speed up time here. Okay, we've got another ghost ship. For a 25 influence, we could get a few more resources. But I really don't think that's necessary. If we sacrifice a little bit of wood, we get some resources and some loyalty. But we are a little low on the wood at the moment. I'm gonna go with more influence. I don't really think we need any of the resources desperately. So, we'll take that influence. But now that things are a little bit more clear over here, I should be able to build our fuel to water facility. I could probably just leave that backed against the wall there. That looks fine. Right, we just need some workers in there, and thankfully we just had a couple more workers join. So that looks good. They only need 2, so that's decent. We probably need to ramp this up a little bit though, to start producing all of the fuel. So let's take... what do I want to take? Maybe another engineer, and I'll place that spare engineer in here. And we do have a couple of sailors on hand, so we should be able to get one of our boats working at full capacity. Oh, what do we have going on here? Control-click to auto-assign citizens. Okay. I'm not sure what this marker means. Perhaps maybe it's just telling us that it only has, like, 1 worker in it. Maybe? Boats waiting for a dock. Okay. Not enough storage for food. Wow, look at that. We are pretty full on food at the moment, apparently. Do we want to do something about that? I suppose what we could do is... we could try to build a little bit more storage for food. I mean, this takes not just food, right? Like, it takes everything else. Wait a sec. Hang on. No, this is a specialized food one. So, yeah, okay. So I need a special food storage area, compartment, whatever you want to call it. So the question is, where do I leave that, though? Perhaps maybe I can extend this out a little bit. And we have food sitting in there. And that way we can fill that up. Yeah, I wasn't banking on 2 mushroom farms being enough to sustain, you know, all of the needs of our guys. But I suppose it is. Let's maybe give people a little bit more room here to work with all of the storage. Okay, things don't look too bad, considering where we were with water a few episodes ago. Alright, time to clear more junk here apparently, so let's get working on that. I'm not sure if I can really access any of this, purely because I would need to support, like, stuff above it, and I don't have the steel beams just yet. Do we have any other sources of junk anywhere? I mean, we're not super desperate for junk right now, though. We've got quite a lot. There we go. So we've got a little bit more access there. So that's resolved. What are people wanting here? Not enough storage for junk. Yeah, okay. So it doesn't say that it's full though, so I don't understand what's going on there. Okay, so judging by what we've got going on right now, what we could do is we could shift workforce between the junk to water and the wood to water periodically, depending on what we have more of. So in situations like this, for instance, it might be a good idea for us to take a couple of guys off of there and just dump them into the junk tower, just to get our water production up a little bit more. So our water is under 100 now, but assuming, you know, we have this, you know, operational, using up the fuel that we're making, plus the junk tower working, we should be able to bring water up a little bit more. Making big assumptions there. Alright, let's try and get this storm to pass. I'm hoping that we'll come across some more people who want to live here. Hopefully. Because we do need to increase production a little bit more. A ship with passengers. Fantastic. So we can get workers, engineers, sailors. It'd be good to get like at least one more sailor, but I guess that'll naturally happen at some point. Let us get more workers, because we really do need to give our workers a little bit of love here. And hopefully, you know, that'll turn things around at least a little bit. Maybe in situations like this, we could start thinking about more decorations. I don't have like heaps of stuff to use for decorations, but we could try. Okay, that's bringing a little bit of happiness for various people. Maybe temporarily we can drop in a roof. Maybe a couple of roofs like that. People should be pretty happy with that. Let's do that, and I don't know how much happiness you get from some of these decorations. I guess there's decoration value. So the bigger the value, I guess, the happier people might be. Presumably. Okay, so water's climbing back up. That's good. And we're starting to see some of those negative numbers turn around. The big question now is how much junk do we have to work with after that junk tornado, or junknado rather. So we're gathering junk from here, but I think once that's done, we'll be able to shift the crane back here. Man, that crane has been clutch, to be honest. We wouldn't have gotten far without it, I would have to say. So, the tower is obviously accessible. We could probably work our way down there by building a ladder. That seems like the easiest way to get down there. We'll probably reserve that for the next episode, though. I'm still more concerned about, you know, I guess, developing more technologies and industry, if you want to call it industry. So, it might be a decent idea for us to start thinking about more electricity. We haven't exactly done that for a while now. We got this turbine pretty early on, and I think it's time for a second turbine if we're going to, you know, try to automate getting junk and all that sort of stuff and not have to rely on the weather constantly. So one thing that I have noticed in this build is that junknados seem to happen very, very often, and therefore you have a constant supply of junk. And I don't know about wood, but wood seems to be just constantly coming in as well. So I don't know if there's maybe a little bit of balancing that needs to be done in order to sort of, you know, not get players to be too reliant on having those resources constantly coming in, right? I don't know, that's just maybe an added layer of difficulty, I suppose. So we've got a couple of workers which we've taken on. It might be a decent idea for us to just get these workers working on some of these event crates, because I have sort of been ignoring that. So let's send these guys, and let's see what happens. Funky smell. We found some supplies, but they have some kind of funky smell. Fermented food is actually good for your health. You could throw it away. Sailors know how to cook it. Oh, we just needed, like, a little bit more happiness. Well, yeah, actually our sailors are the happiest. Yeah, if we can get them to be a little bit happier, we could have just taken 50 food straight off the bat. Though, we don't really need food. So I don't really see any benefit coming out of this event, except for food. So let's throw it away, because I feel like that would probably have some follow-up consequences later on down the road. Maybe people getting sick or whatever. Let's send those guys out there, see what they can find. And our demo guys, I think our demo guys should be able to try and work on getting rid of, like, certain segments of the place where it seems a little unstable. Like, I was hoping that they could get rid of some of this. Maybe I don't have what it takes just yet. Let's get them removing that. And we should try and work our way into this tower. Try to clear everything up here. Okay, now that that's accessible, I'm hoping people will start clearing all of this out, and we might be able to make use of this space. That seems like our biggest tower, actually. A locked safe. Captain, we found a hidden safe. We should open it and see what's inside. We need tools for that. We do have the tools. And we get some goods out of this. Someone will have to sit and try every combination. Ugh. Let's use the tools. We're not using the tools for anything else, so... I wonder if that's all that tools will be for. Just, you know, getting us through certain events. Let's send people down to the next crate. But yeah, let's check on the stink tower, though, because this is our lifeblood, after all. So what we'll do, I reckon, is we'll start planning to build up the stink tower a little bit more. And one thing that I would love is the ability to get, like, elevators. I've seen elevators just in the world, and I wonder if that's something that you can actually build yourself, because if you can, obviously getting around or having people get around with elevators is a lot faster, so it's not really going to impede on production. I'm just looking at our research here. What is going on with our research? So we're out of something. So we need more metal, apparently. We've ran out of metal? How's that even possible? I thought we just got a whole bunch. I guess maybe we've used it up. So, in that case, I'm gonna need to search for those metal deposits. We've got a little bit going on down here. It's in a flood zone, but I think it's safe enough for people to gather, so let's actually get people there. There. And let's prioritize that. Yeah, I've been wondering why the research has not been completing for a while. Okay, another locked safe. Well, let's use more tools. So, is there anything that we can do to increase people's happiness using goods? Because we've got some goods. Perhaps maybe I can give some goods to the workers. Since we have the most workers and they're the least happiest. So I think they're deserving of some goods. So hopefully we can bump all of that up a little bit. We're not getting loyalty from them. In fact, perhaps maybe this is reducing the amount of loyalty that we're getting from them. So yeah, that could be a little bit problematic. Another thing that we could also think about doing is we could be thinking about leisure. A human trading post. Order or sell people. We need 2 workers, sailors, or engineers in here, but then assuming with this we can then get a steady supply of workers in. that is kind of funny to me. Why not, guys? Why not? We did say we did say that this was gonna be an abrasive playthrough. I keep saying that. Why not? There we go. So my plan is not to sell off people unless we're really desperate, but if we can get more people in, that might be good. Okay, word spreads. We do have more people coming in who aren't slaves, might I add, because, you know, they're coming here willingly. Oh, yes, that's right. There's the spaceship, which I've forgotten completely about. That's the biggest source of metal around. Goodness me. Alright, maybe we should think about trying to get access to that. It doesn't seem too difficult. Especially while the ocean level is quite low. But, I mean, do we need heaps and heaps of steel? I mean, we have been impeded by the amount of steel that we have. So perhaps maybe it's not a bad idea for us to start thinking about getting. We are low on wood, though. Yeah, wood production. Gotta maybe wait a little bit on that. But we do have more workers, and I'm very happy about that. So, where do we need these workers the most? Oh, and I have completely forgotten about the crane, haven't I? So, let me deal with the crane first, because definitely want that junk production continuing. Yeah, that seems alright. And our new workers. Do we have any sailors? Doesn't look like it. It seems we only managed to get a couple of workers, though. I thought normally when we accept these... Oh, actually, no. I haven't accepted that just yet, so let's accept them. We need housing now. We've got one sailor, just as well, because we only needed the one for the boat that doesn't have the sailor. But we've also now got a couple more engineers and one more worker. So... let's see. I'd say we put the engineers to work making some steel. That way we've got a regular amount of steel coming in. That additional worker, I think we can get them in the gathering hut. But yeah, let's address housing immediately. I could do junk houses, try and resolve it that way, but I kind of like the idea of having wooden houses, so we might wait for some wood to come in. Actually, no, I take that back. I will do junk houses, purely because I kind of need that wood to do other stuff for the moment. So let's do that. That should resolve all of the housing needs. We'll do a little bit more decorating later. So why is it that we don't have a lot of wood? I guess maybe it's because our gatherers haven't really had access to sources of wood, perhaps. So let's do something like that. That should give them access to that pile there. And we might need to start thinking about like clearing whatever's behind here, which should give us a little bit more wood. I'm just trying to see if there's other stuff that we can work on to get more wood. Maybe all of this stuff would be good as well, but I need people to be able to reach. Man, getting the right angle, very difficult. Let me try something else. Might be a bit wasteful, but I reckon that could help. And we just do... no, I'm not getting the angle that I need. Just want a piece there. Maybe if I just do that. That should do the trick. It's a little bit messy, but for now, it should work. Alright, things are not looking too bad. Junk is a little low, but I think that's going to come in and increase a little bit more thanks to our crane. Another thing that we could think about doing is adding an additional crane just to speed up the junk gathering process. So instead of having people in the gatherers, we could have a couple of people in the cranes to, you know, get, you know, junk that's on the ocean, but also it does work on junk that's lying around on dry land as well, right? So it's actually a really, really good tool to gather junk in general. Anyway, guys, I think I am going to sign out here, and in the next one, I think what we'll focus on is trying to get to the tower, and we'll also focus on just improving the stink tower a little bit more, building upwards. And I would say that once we have more citizens and we have a bit more of a need for water, food, and fuel production, we can actually build more of these things on top of the layer that we currently already have. That's the plan anyway, and that is the reason for why I've built some ladders coming up this way. The only problem is we just need to make sure that the ladders come up past the chimneys. I don't know if there's any need for, you know, keeping areas clear of smoke. But I think it should be okay, hopefully. We've just had research complete here, so we should have our steel ready to use in the next episode. I just need to, you know, obviously gather up more metal. So we might have a need to make more of the recycling centers as well, potentially. But before we sign out, maybe I should decide on the next research that we need to get. And I don't know, I feel like maybe trying to increase the happiness for people could be a good idea. So maybe we'll go into Windows. We just need some junk and some wood for that. So it seems pretty easy to do. Right, signing out here, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one. Leave a like if you did. Looking forward to some comments down below if you have any. Stay true, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.